rising of the gods. That's exactly what we need to do.
So we now, as black gods, could come together and actually help to manifest the works of all of our great ancestors.
The rising of the gods, was very uplifting because, I was linked to brethren who were very progressive in their works.
How to rise into that godly nature and how to really sit in that creative self as a god.
In every aspect of our daily lives, we are faced with various challenges. Nature is constantly working on our resilience, spinning us in its world of existential questions. In our gratitude for life and in our love for the Creator's exalted yet secret reflection, which is to be found in creation, we can hear nature's subtle voice whispering into our beings the answer, made with love and intention to support me on my highest path.
Blessed love, family. Welcome forward to the episode 1. Actually, no, this is the intro, only the intro of Rising of the Gods podcast. And before this podcast started, we already had like 2-3 podcasts worth of these high-level, high-vibrational conversations. So give thanks. So my name is Akeem Pierre. I'm in Vancouver, Canada. I'm a wellness entrepreneur, founder of Rich Soul Foods and Beyond Wellness Retreat, and met the honorables at the Rising of the Gods retreat. And we'll get everyone to introduce themselves one time.
Yeah, give thanks and praise. My name is Jamar, and I'm known around the world as Chronixx. And we give thanks for being here, amongst I and I, our genuine brethren within life. So it's an honor. Give thanks.
Give thanks. Peace, brothers. This is Brother Rizza Islam. First thing I'll just say is, definitely honored to finally display in front of the world the conversations and the unity among the brotherhood across the diaspora. I've been able to spend time with each of all my brothers who are on, and just being a black man from America, author, entrepreneur, member of the Nation of Islam, founder of Intellectual Extremists. It's a lot of good things that are happening. So, to be able to connect with our brothers here is just another part of the journey to demonstrate that we can come together as a masculine brotherhood across the diaspora. So I'm just honored.
Yes, give thanks for life and a mighty life giver. Well, definitely, I'm Right Honorable Priest Kailash K. Leons, priest of the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress. Give thanks, I'm a herbal physician by profession, but a priest by birthright. So we do give thanks. As definitely I give thanks for all the brethren that's there, and I, as we are working towards the upliftment of the man into his God elevation, his most creative aspect, the creation of all things good and bright. Ja? Rastafari. Yes, sir.
Give thanks, y'all. So it's an honor to be here with y'all. And we all connected last year at the Rising of the Gods retreat, and that led to the name Rising of the Gods podcast. And when we were speaking about that with Honorable Priest Kailash, we need to host a retreat for the man, because we know there's a lot of things out there for wellness, and there's not really anything that's geared specifically for the man, for the upliftment of the man. So Rising of the Gods was the meeting of those energies together. And I just want us to share about what's the importance that the man has something to uplift them, like the young men have something to uplift them. We have retreats, we have gathering, we have podcasts like this. Like, what's the importance for y'all that we bring this forward and really present it to the world, that example?
Well, for I basically give thanks was having realized vision and saw that the loss I had just because of poor communication, like with my father as a young man growing up. So our fathers don't really tell us then, okay, how to speak to an empress, how to speak to a woman, how to, if you want to make a child, how you should make a child, how to come together, even what they call sexual intercourse. There is no level of education from this father figure into just being a man to a younger person, to a son, so It was like, like what I say, Russian roulette. You just try a thing, and if you get it right, you get it right. And some of our brethren and them, they actually perish. They perish literally. Not don't even go to the ancestors. They lose their souls. Not even having that opportunity just to know what really being a man is, and what are the very precise steps, because it's something that's very precise that a masculine figure, must take to become a man, and then into rise into his God nature. So the rising of the gods was basically we looking for, souls out there that we felt like, we saw some light in. That's why I call on Brother Rizza Islam, because I saw that he demonstrated a level of discipline, and he showed a level of commitment, and he was just consistent, consistent, consistent. So I watched him for months, being consistent as a younger brother, on his work. So even if I am Rastafari and he's of the nation of Islam, I was able to actually witness a characteristic, of manhood, in a younger person, which I felt could have benefited even our brothers in St. Lucia, the people that would have been invited, and even Honorable Prophet Jama. When I looked at him, I saw, well, that level of extraordinariness and keeping to a message and singing nice and clean music and trying his best to, move nice, and he say he doesn't wear his pants down low and all them different aspects and what the world is actually going through. It was, I was very impressed to see a younger person that level of discipline also and commitment, and was able to demonstrate a high level of success by being true to himself. So all these I saw as like simple characteristics that could have been shared to the other members of our manhood, of that masculine entity. And Brother Akeem, you know how it is. You a man I just see raised from um Akeem Rastafari, to the manifestation of the physical Pharaoh, and see you grow rich soul foods and transform into your God creative self, which is something that is a very important attribute, just being able to be clear of your vision and be consistent to working towards it. So I do give thanks, my Lord. Blessed.
Yeah, give thanks. That's super key because we didn't have no blueprint. No one ever brought us and really tried to give us game to put us on. You know what I mean? And it was almost like when I think back to like my upbringing, it's really almost like they wanted to put us out there in Russian roulette, like just go figure it out. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna try to help and share anything. You know what I mean? So once I got onto the knowledge and starting to have certain figures around me, then I realized of that importance. And the priest, you would be speaking about it a lot, and the way you put it so eloquently, you know what I mean? Like it's just key. So that's why I feel super important that we come together for this podcast and we really bring forward that upliftment and that empowerment. And on this is not just talking. You know what I mean? Like we're not here just to talk like another podcast. There's the economic development side of things. There's the wellness development side of things. And it's important that we have that full aspect. And each one of us have our own uniqueness that we bring forward. And it's important that we're able to see through the initial things that may separate us, right? Because there's a lot of distraction out there, a lot of things trying to separate us. So it's important that we see through and we're able to come together and really build and see through all that thing, all those layers of this of division and all that, because we have that uniqueness and we really got to share. So definitely do give thanks, Honorable Rizza. What's your thoughts on this importance?
Hmm. Oh yes, brother. I'll say we've been at war when it comes to the very image of whether it's the black man or just manhood, period, and masculinity. So, as you were saying, when it comes to how we were raised and all of those things that we lacked, the stuff that we didn't have, and the environments that we are in, it was producing criminality, producing us to go into gang life and gang culture, producing all of those type of outcomes. And I mean, it was really doing it easily on a regular. So it's imperative that masculinity be present and that physical embodiments and examples of masculinity be present on a consistent basis. Right now, what we're seeing is they put the soft image, of our brothers, and we love our brothers, but they put that image of the lack of discipline, the lack of consistency, the lack of masculinity, the lack of strength, the lack of manhood, and they put those up that make us look weak, or to a degree almost purposeless, like we don't know where we're going in life. And then that's promoted as the norm. So then the children who watch that, the young men who watch that, they don't know where to go because they're thinking that's the example, or just get money and don't have any morals, don't have any ethics, don't have any kind of discipline or a connection to the Most High or anything whatsoever. It's just everything that's on the base material level. So, I just noticed that from how I was raised, same thing. Mother raised me for the most part, no father, but I have many brothers, plenty of brothers. And that's why it's very important that we have brotherhood, or that group or that village of men who know how to raise men. At the end of the day, we're going to have to do things, whether it's in business, whether it's in a war, whether it's in, collective finance, or handling things in the community. We're going to have to do it as a manhood, as a collective. So it's just interesting to me, man, how where it's all going right now. So rising of the gods literally means that it means resurrecting the mentality of the original man, the original woman, putting us back in our original position, or even better than where we were originally in an evolved form. So no, it's a lot, brother. I mean, it's like, just to see where the world is now, it's like, wow. It's like a movie almost. It's like watching, like, I've seen this in so many movies, and they try to destroy us in so many areas, with so many components. But the beautiful thing is, as we're demonstrating now, a brother from Jamaica, a brother from St. Lucia, brother from Canada, and a brother from Compton, California, all coming together, to demonstrate that unity among brothers is something that we can do globally. I truly believe that we can do it. We've done it just with us four. So I know we can do it with 4,000, 400,000, 4,000,000, 4,000,000,000.
Yeah, truly. Truly. Jamar. Was prepping the chalice one time.
Yeah, we give thanks, we give thanks. I'm just here listening to Brother Rizza Islam, man. This is what I do in my spare time. I listen to them on reason. Because one of the important things for me in this lifetime is meaning, and I love to extract more and more meaning and beauty out of my life experience. Because I feel like that is the one gift I can perceive with my physical self and even within my soul. That's the one gift I perceive I could take to the Almighty Creator and say, here is my offering, It's the meaning and the beauty that you can extract out of your life experience. And I feel like understanding the meaning of a life as a human male, I feel like is the more is another way how to look at the rising of the gods, because I feel like one of the things I never and I still am figuring out every single day is the life as a human male, and that's a very epic thing. There's a lot of us on the planet, who were human beings, a male, like a male aspect of the species. And what's our role? And what does, because sometimes people get caught up in how them feel, and that's how we have been taught to, you are whatever you feel like, But there are some things that exist regardless of feeling, whatever feelings are, Such is the life of being a human male, regardless of how you feel and how you perceive yourself. There's this natural scientific fact that you are born a human male, hence your brain, your heart, your lungs, your genitals, everything have this unique cosmic imprint will make it possible for you to procreate and create with the human female, and within that dynamic is the key to our sustainability as a species. And I feel like even the thought of, because the one meaning I can put closest to the concept of God is creator. Like that's, if you think about the act of creating and the concept of creating and conceptualizing, I feel like that must be the most definitive thing about God, and the fact that we can do that and we can realize that power in ourselves is the one thing that can define us as gods, within the earth, because we have this very peculiar power to create certain things and to create it from thought and not just from inspiration and not just from dreaming, but from putting dreaming into thought and doing it independently without knowing what the next man is thinking. Because if I could tell what is going on in Brother Rizza Islam's mind right now, that would be a different situation. Whatever we create with that capacity would be a different thing than what we can create,
The intention was to create a product that would provide the answer to all the problems that come along with cancer. From the moment I start to feel like I'm getting an infection, a cold, I'll drink the answer. I'll take like 3 cups of that at once. And the next day, I don't feel that itchy throat again and these sort of things. So it is the answer for whatever issues you have. Try it and it's the answer.
Yeah, I need some water. But yeah, it's a real thing,
Give thanks. That creative aspect, and even just coming forward, this podcast really started on the retreat, like we spoke about, the Rising of the Gods retreat. And from that retreat, Rising of the Gods retreat, speaking of closest thing to God is a creator, what we brought forward was a lot of creations came from that retreat, right? Like the priest was just saying how they just wrapped up the economic forum out in St. Lucia, the Nyabingi Jaja Nye initiative out there, which is one of the projects that came forward that's just starting to really manifest, right? Then we have the Rising of the Gods book, which is already put together, already, you can see it, like you have the copy over there, priest. So it's already something that we thought about. And then all of a sudden we have that physical copy of the book in our hands. And then here we are with the podcast, Rising of the Gods podcast, and moving forward with that economic empowerment through the answer campaign and bringing real life solutions to people. So just to have that, the Rising of the Gods retreat really brought forward so much of our creative potential. And this is really just the start of it. This is really just the start of it. And Priest, you want to speak a little bit on the economic forum and the empowerment that was just going on in St. Lucia, because that's some real powerful initiative that is really in line with everything that we have going on.
Oh, yes, my Lord. We do give thanks for life and a mighty life giver, and give thanks for everyone who actually risen before. Yes, I mean, the God nature is the creative nature. And it is very important that we really pay keen attention to our words and what our words let us commit us to. It's called that contract. When you speak things and then just because you speak it, because there is a difference between the laws of the world and the laws of nature. There is a different type of law outside there. So the same way you have that polarity above and below, there are things happening in the evil sense of things and it's evil, and they might be portrayed and everyone is happy. But there is the other side of the right, the good, the wonderful that is happening, and then lots of good saints and people will also be happy. So even the rising of the God, it was an opportunity whereby we had to actually come together and create, manifest. We speak something and then it just manifests quickly too. So that's the capacity of the word. And when it is that you speak something and you think something and then you actually commit to that thing and then you develop that level of consistency and you act upon it because the process is not really the outcome. So the outcome of the 3 days economic seminar, right, and the outcome, that we had of the Nyabingi and all these things there was about a 14 months worth of work. So it is very important that even the process of getting to where we need to get is as um I would say you put it forward also to show people, okay, so that's the way. So it's not just about abracadabra and everything just happens. So the economic forum is just realizing and seeing, well, I mean, within the Caribbean region, we live on islands. We are literally separated by ocean. I'm staying in my veranda, I could see Martinique. If I was down south, I would have seen St. Vincent. Yet still, economically, if it is that Prophet Jamal has to fly from Jamaica, if he flies from Jamaica on probably one of the Caribbean airlines, straight into St. Lucia, it might take him, it might cost him about $1,500 just on economy, right? But if he could fly American Airlines and go through Florida and probably spend about a $700, $600, $500 economy. So there is that very deliberate effort whereby you see that 60% of all trade in the EU is among EU nations, and only 14% of all trade among the Caribbean people is among the Caribbean people. So imagine you have millions of people living in the Caribbean and they hardly trade with their own selves. And moving through the region cost us 3 times as much. You could stay in London and then you could go into France for about 60 quid, or they got £60, or even £40. So you could take a train, you could go. Right? But within the Caribbean region, just for me to go and check Prophet Jama, I have to stay overnight, probably one, two places, travel there, spend a certain amount of money if I want to travel economy or if I'm going business class. So at the end of the day, whatever it is, and if I have to ship something from Jamaica, I still have to go through Miami or go through another place. I cannot just jump on a ferry or a boat and then go to Martinique or go to St. Vincent. So being that we are in this economic dilemma, we found that it was necessary to initiate what they call a maritime summit, whereby we had feasibility studies, both from the United Nations and also other entities that say, okay, well, how can a maritime initiative work within the OECS, which is the Eastern Caribbean, and also in CARICOM? So we are now finally, the final day of the conference. We are actually putting this structure together, whereby we are definitely, going to be working towards, putting some ships on the ocean, you know, and these are things that will be discussed within chambers, and in time to come, you and now would know how is it that you could become part of that initiative of economic empowerment, because money is different than finance. And finance is still different than economics, you know. So we have to be economically inclined as a people to develop what they call economic sustainability. And if it is that you cannot move, you don't have the capacity, the aptitude to move, and we don't have to wait for someone to do it for us. So you are going to have, as we say, if we have 144,000 people, each put in $144, that's $20 million. $1 million is $1,000 1,000 times. So that's how simple it is. So we now as a people could come together and put our resources together and liberate ourselves. So initially this economic symposium was just to initiate that action. So we're looking at, this time next year, definitely to be cutting some ribbons, and you would be in St. Lucia jumping, on the first of the many of the ferries to actually come, to be able to have maritime services in terms of trade and transportation of people and goods and services also across the region.
It's powerful. That's powerful. And And I like how you said that. Be mindful of your words, because the words will commit you. It's like that contract. That's powerful. Just to know the power that we have in the words, and how that brings forward that creative aspect in us. And just going in on that creativity. I would love, like, Brother Rizza, like, you're prolific. All of us here, I would say, create prolific creators, whether that is in the digital world, on social media, through music, just speaking, products, just different ways that we create. So, like, I would love to hear what y'all thoughts on the creative process, and like what that means to each and every one of us.
Oh man, good question. Well, I'll say, brother, everything starts in darkness, whether if we want it to or not. It all starts in triple darkness, whether if it's in the womb of the woman or the universe itself or inside of our minds. It all starts in an area of darkness where we have to take time to really think about what it is that we're going to do, what direction we're going in, what the purpose is. That's what we all do when it comes to being an herbalist, or it comes to being an artist or musical artist, or running a business, or just educating the people. We all have to take that time to sit and think. And most of the time, that's normally what takes the longest, depending on what it is. Like for me, I have to think about, before I put something out, how would this affect the people? Then I have to consider, before I put this out, whether it's a video, or if I have an event where I'm speaking, or a book, how is this going to affect the people, help the people, and then what direction will it push them in? And then what response will I receive from those who may not want to hear it? There are different layers of responsibility that we have to consider. Even if it's comedy, if it's whatever it is, there's always a cause and effect. There's a give and take, there's a push and pull, there's a putting out, and there's a receiving. And it's a long process, man. Like, I know with me, I not only research everything myself that I put out, I shoot all of everything that I shoot when it comes to recording, for example. And then not only do I research everything that I have to study, I shoot everything on my own, cameras. Then I edit my own, content. Then I post my own
I want to
content
ask you about that.
on every.
I want to ask you
Oh
about that
man,
because
it's
I
real,
know
bro.
there's many people who would love to just be around and filming you, and to just be there, because they'll do that all for you. You know what I mean? That'd be like the biggest blessing. I'll fly over right now and do that. So, so like,
Right.
why do you do that yourself? Like, what's that importance on that one?
Man, you can't trust everyone with your baby. Not everyone can have access to your child. I know brother Jamar was saying that you have to find the right people who have the same mindset as you. And if you can find, he said, 10 people who are on the same mindset as you, the same level that you're on, that's rare. Especially the higher up you go, the smaller that amount of people are potentially able to be accessed. It's not an easy thing. It was really divine of how all of us were connected. That's why I said 4 different locations: Jamaica, St. Lucia, Canada, and America. I mean, come on. We had to be connected from all across the diaspora because of a spirit that we all have. So, I mean, no one can produce what I need to be produced in the way that I produce it. I've seen it. I've done my best to see how can this person get the message across to the people in the way that I envision it, and it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. Maybe they've come close. I've had some good brothers who are camera people, editors, and filmers, and maybe 2 of them have gotten very close. And I mean, like, almost right there, but just not quite, because there is that spirit and that energy that you carry, that character that you have, that you want to be duplicated in the digital world, and it only comes from your spirit. So it's very difficult, but that's why people are attracted to whom they are attracted to. It's you. When a person buys your book, when they buy your herbs, when they listen to your music, it's you. It's the spirit of you that the Most High is flowing through, that they connect with. It's not just the music or the product or the, oh, I like how he says Rastafari, or No, it's you. It's the essence, of who that person is, and that's what the people connect with. That's why people connect with different people. Because if there was no specialty, or if we all weren't unique, then everyone would connect with everyone. But that's not how it goes. So that's the process I've noticed, brother, and that's another reason why, because people feel the dedication, as brother Honorable Priest was saying. Some people can really feel how deeply connected you are with what you put out. And they honor that and they feel that and they say, no, that brother put his heart, sweat, blood, tears, and energy in that. He put himself in that. And I want to focus on building that with him because I feel him. That's another thing. I'm telling you, brother, I can't trust everyone with what I do. I can't, like it would be infiltrated like the Garvey movement, like we said, everything. It could be something small, a video, a message, a book. Like I said, it could be something real simple that if you have the wrong spirit or the wrong person next to it, it could kind of taint it. And even if it's unintentional, it may not be an intentional thing. I see brother, brother Jamar is down there.
The answer is just like a natural gift that, we have been able to extract out of nature in such a way that people can use it. Yeah, and in many different ways I'll use it. Use it in juice, drop it in your juice same way. And, in tea, same way. All different type of ways I'll use it, Most times I take it in water, but if you're ever on the road and you need to sanitize your hand, with something that is like antibacterial at the same time, that is one of the things they can use the answer for, It's for people who undergo and people who are trying to incorporate the natural living into everyday modern life, So it's a gift. We give thanks, it's an answer, for real. I was just
Real,
thinking,
brother.
how do you now balance that with maintaining a significant type of platform to bear that message? Because when you have a powerful message, it's like like what force now powerful enough to carry that, to make sure that it get to all the people who need it, So, is that something that you would say, you leave it up to chance, or is that something that you take certain measures and even certain practices to ensure that it gets,
Yeah, and I know for me, I know I take very good precaution when it comes to how I roll it out and then who I allow to have any access to editing or anything like that. So put it this way, if someone else happens to film something for me or record me or an event, etc., before anything is approved, as you already know, we have to look at it. We have to go over it, and we have to verify and check it. So it's not that certain things are not recorded. People can do that. I don't mind that. But when it comes to most of what I do, it's because of I know this message is needed at this time, etc. But I do need help at times for overall content, videos, especially events, as we already know. When it comes to events, I mean, I can't go and set up the camera and then go and speak and then go, I can't, it's too much, So for certain things, it's fine. But before anything gets put out, it always comes back through us to make sure that the message is sticking true to the spirit of exactly what we want to get put out. Because sometimes I've trusted the wrong people and allowed them to put out what I thought they would understand. And they put out the completely wrong message. It's like that doesn't represent where I am or, how I carry myself. And because of that, I said I have to verify more and more and more. So, I guess I have certain precautions, certain people I work with now, and I make sure I just verify things at least 3 times before I put it out.
Give thanks.
Yeah, that dedication is real honorable, real powerful, and it makes me think of like the ancient sites that are still around to this day. You know, when we look to
Mm,
Egypt, look to these different parts of the world where it's like they put that level of intention and care into it and thinking far ahead into their creation. Like no one could just hold my baby. Like they really put some thought into that. And they didn't just like in Vancouver, they just skyscraper goes up in like a couple months. And then you go into the buildings and it's
mm,
like the place ain't, the walls ain't proper. Like the walls are cheap. You know, this ain't gonna last. You know what I mean? They just have anyone
mm-hmm.
coming in and building. It don't matter, right? So yeah, that's powerful. That dedication to the craft and to that creation process and guarding it. You know, that's something behind the scenes that I don't think many people know. You know, they see you out in the front lines, but do they see you setting up your camera? Do they see you editing your own videos? Like, because that takes a lot of time. You know what I mean? That
That's a
takes
fact.
potentially more time than anything in front of the camera.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so just to know that that's real honorable. You know, and just shows how much you really do care about that creation that you are bringing forward, and you're not just trying to be out in the front just to be out in the front. You know, you're still making sure everything comes through with that clarity and that power and that message that you have. You know, so that's real powerful for real.
And being felt is more important than being seen, brother. That's definitely what I've learned. You want people to feel rather than just see. We see people all day long. Scroll every day. You see people all the time. But if they don't feel you, if you're not being felt and connecting, then what's the point? There's no purpose. It's like I'm not interested in being seen. If I was interested in being seen, I would have stopped speaking the truth about certain things that got me taken off of my whole platform. If I wanted to be seen, it's not about that. It's the people have to feel that we're connected with them. It has to be a feeling, a true connection, not I want to be seen and, look at me. No, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah, good. Thanks. And that's reminding me of priests up in the mountains, building up in the mountains. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, we're not just gonna build where it's easy. No, we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
have this big truck drive up this road, and if it's raining, it's tough. Like, so that's like also makes me think of that. Just that level of thought and intention and energy that goes into creation is is real powerful. And that is insane. It's like that's close to the God self. So Prophet Jama, I would love to hear a little bit about your process, your thoughts on the creativity and creation, because I know it's powerful. So I would love to hear some more.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, man. Give thanks. Well, music is an invisible thing. So it's a work that is purely about faith and hope and imagination, and those concepts are the base canvas for creating the type of artwork that musicians create. You know, um, so yeah, it's just a matter of faith. Like the more faith your heart and your soul is capable of generating. Because sometimes we do, it's, in the earth frequencies, like the even our invisible aspect, like we will and intellect, it can get tired. Like sometimes you're tired, like sometimes you learn and you learn whole day till after a while it's like I need to go and rest. you know because your physical organs sometimes have trouble fulfilling the will of things. Sometimes the will get tired, and better you go sleep. When you have more energy will come again. So our work is understanding those things. And some of us don't even understand it. We just good at music, and because of that, it end up making more in the frequency of the earth. Cause the earth is like a big gigantic musical instrument. You know what I mean? Creating its vibration throughout the thing. So yeah, my process is really understanding that type of cosmic reality in a subtle way, because it's hard to explain, but I do, feel a part of a big, cosmic thing, and that's the main, I would say that's the main overstanding, going into create, and then otherwise it's just connect. For me, I have an intimate relationship with this whole concept of music, where, if I ever meet someone who understands it in a similar way, I feel like that's when a spark happened for me. You know what I mean? Like a couple times in my trad, I meet some people who, and not people who is exactly share the same views as I share, but they have a similar understanding of the cosmic nature of like why we're here and why it's even important for make music, you know? And then, yeah, whenever you meet someone like that who can actually take flavors and like actual flavors and smells and textures and turn it into an invisible thing like music, to a point where someone else listens it and they can smell the thing them that you put in the music, and they can actually, so even some of the artists who sing lyrics that we wouldn't agree with, their inner nature is capable of doing these things, and that's why there are so much people connect with them. Because, imagine like some youth in Queens, for instance, who them probably never travel to have a vacation or to enjoy sunshine by the beach, and you know what I mean. So music, like reading books and like traveling and everything, it expands your being, it deepens who you are, and it gives you more meaning in life, to take back into your dream life now and enrich your dream life. Just like how if you sit down and you get a great vision right now, it will enrich your physical life. So the same way, when you can extract meaning out of your physical life, you take that back in your dream life and enrich your spiritual self. Same way. So some people understand these things, and them man is like the artists them where we recognize as the great artists of the time, people who understand these things. So I feel like, but it take no faith to be someone like that. You have to have this deep sense of belief in these invisible things, and you have to prioritize them over money, over, you have to, like, this is something all the great people share in common. Like they prioritize the things, them like invisible things, because that's what people buy. That's the product. Like that spark is where people travel from different country and book ticket and everything just to light up themselves, and catch a piece of the spark and almost find themselves in your creative expression, So it's very important, because a lot of the things that we need in life have never been created before. It's only it's only the things that are needed to create it have been created before. So it's really important for people to make art and to comment on the world in an artistic way, because when you comment artistically, it's not like when you force people to see things one way or another. When you comment artistically, you spark other people's intelligence so they can get their own meaning out of things. And that's why I feel like, because even when I visited the house that His Majesty Haile Selassie and his family was living in Bath during the Italian aggression in Ethiopia. and he had this piano, whereas this piano where you pedal it and it play it by itself. So you put in this scroll with the musical notes punched out like braille, and then the piano has this way how it reads it, and as the thing turn, it play all the note then by itself. So if you don't want to play, you can like also just pedal and the thing will still play the song. And I was saying, what would someone of that level of spiritual and social depth, what could they be looking for in music, that they don't already understand, or that they can't produce from within? Why would their ears outside? There's certain things that you don't need to see it in the physical to know that it's there. Like your breath, you just know it's there. So what it is about music, because it's in our heart, it's in our heartbeat, it's in our soul. But what it is about the external one that make it necessary for us to always want to experience it, no matter how mystical someone is in their understanding or how technical they are in their knowledge, they still have a thing they're looking for in this thing. And the people who understand these things, they end up being really good artists, and that's one of the things that drive me towards like doing music as a life work, even separate from it being profession, because I have friends who music is their profession, but it's not life work, and they're proud about it, and because of that, me and them is good friend, because we understand the difference between each other, we can help each other. I can help them write songs, they can help me run my business, but for me, improving music itself is like a life work. And because it's such an intense work for me, as someone who never learned music formally, it take enough meditation to come up with things, or for even imagine some of the things that you're trying to imagine and some feelings that you're trying to translate. How do you do it without understanding the basic knowledge that all the other musicians in the world feel kind of cut from all the musicians? Because I can't read what them write and I can't write what them read. So it's a matter of learning it from within first, finding a way to manifest it through some musical instrument or with the voice. And then, you either do it yourself or try help another musician to play it without writing it. And, so it's a spiritual thing. It's a spiritual thing, and it take enough as a take enough faith. That's enough. The main issue for me is just like, if one morning you don't have faith, you give up. If one day you wake up the right with less faith than required to do this type of thing, you're not going to make it. So yeah, that's a thing for me.
Our purpose is to revolutionize the healthcare system. The answer is the answer to the questions that people normally ask, and it's in the form of a tincture. So what the answer was, the answer specifically was a product I created because I wanted to help one particular man who was just suffering from high blood pressure, diabetes, and all these different type of things. Over the years, the uses of the answer has just been phenomenal. So from inside and outside. Our purpose have been to actually bring forth that ancient knowledge and merge it together with the present scientific knowledge, that people could have a clearer understanding of exactly what path they have to take when it comes to healing. In the other realms, I could feel satisfied that I actually played my part and provide people with the core level of knowledge and intelligentsia on the herbs and healing, that they could make positive decisions into naturally eradicating their diseases.
Thanks. That's powerful. It reminds me of at the Rising of the Gods retreat when priests would be like, we don't always have time to explain things. It's like when it's time to move, we move. When it's time to move, we move. And I thought that was powerful because I feel like, when it's time to create, create. And we're gonna wrap up pretty soon here. But Priest, you want to touch on just that energy? That important energy of just that faith and just trusting and not always needing an explanation, not always needing to talk it through, and just know it's time to move. And we go.
Well, give thanks, definitely, it comes with just that aspect of following the leader, being able to see leadership, or God in someone else other than yourself, So they say it takes God to know the love of God. So if you're not a God, you really can't know God love. So you cannot know of godly things if you're not really of God. So to be able to move without hesitation, you know, demands that ability for us within our own self to recognize, leadership among our fellow brethren. So if your brethren tell you, let's do that, and you could see his God characteristics, not just because you are naive, because they say it's by the fruits you shall know them. So the works of whatever that person is doing supposed to be showing you what nature of person you are dealing with. So if someone say, but please, what have you been doing? I mean, if they come up to the mountain and they ask me, what do you do? You come up to the Mount Kailash Rejuvenation Center and then you're still saying, you still want to ask me, and then probably I speak to you for a whole hour already, and I'm telling you, well, drink this, or take this, or this plant is this. So every time you have to explain or convince someone, it is time. And time multiplies exponentially. So as we would normally say, if we go into point B, and I'm speaking to this one individual and I'm saying, let's go to point B. And we go to point B, and it takes us about 10 minutes to get there. So okay, 10 minutes, you're already at point B. Now, you get this other energy, this other person. You tell them, let's go to point B. They say, how far is it? Then you say, well, it's about 10 minutes away. How are we going to get there? Well, so the time that it takes you just to explain that, it's time. So it might take you 10 minutes to explain to this person that you have to go to point B. That same 10 minutes that it would have taken you to get there. So if you multiply that 10 minutes by 10, it would have cost you probably about over an hour. Just the fact that you have to spend time to discuss or to convince or to make somebody see the perception of or your own perception in whatever it is that you are doing. So it is very important that as man that you are able to see leadership qualities, you are able to see God characteristics in your fellow brothers, and learn to follow. So if it is that this is the man that is good at that, well, do your thing, brethren. Always say, okay, all right, let's go then. Okay, all right, you understand? So if you tell me I have to spin on this thing and I have to do whatever pull-ups and that's not my thing. Probably I could lift up a couple of banana branches or run down the hill and do some type of thing, but that's not mine. So whatever way that you express it to me, say, well, please do that, right? When I trust in your capacity, apart from saving us time that we could do other constructive things, it also empowers you. So when we have faith in our fellow brothers and we have trust in their own capacities and we acknowledge their leadership position, because the man has been broken down to a nobody, and nobody listens to him. When he goes home, his wife is quarreling with him. When he's at work, somebody is saying, "Why you can't do this?" When he goes on the road, somebody else telling him something he can't do. So any level of positive, as a stimulation that this man could actually get, it assists him into flourishing into a proper man. So it is important that we just trust one another. We say as Aki Baker said, Paul Benjamin, you don't know the pilot on the plane, that on the runway you touch down. So you go on plane all the time. We don't know who's flying it, but we go on plane and we go wherever we go. So trust is an innate capacity that we could see leadership among ourselves, and we could learn to follow one another. So you have to then be able to develop that godliness in yourself, that you could see leadership, in things. So when you speaking to me, I'm listening to God speaking to me there, So I'm going to intently listen to what you are telling me, because it's a message from God Himself. So I'll take your words so seriously that I'll begin to apply it in my own life. So when you do these things there, you grow exponentially also, because as Marcus Garvey said, read good books. If you read an autobiography of a man, then it could teach you what it took him a whole lifetime to learn. Right? So when you listen to the words of people who have been through things, who have that knowledge and that capacity, it allows you to navigate through situations that maybe took that person 10, 15 years to navigate through. So I give thanks even to have this opportunity to be with the INM as brethren of the younger generations too. I am not that old either, just that my life experiences, it's like I have lived for 120 years when I'm just 44 years. So give thanks for being with the INM young souls. I have the capacity to actually, and follow the young people too that have the strength, and listen to the INM in your strengths and be able to see how is it that I can fine tune and add value to whatever it is that the INM are doing. And it's just as my profession is healing, that's what the healing is about. Just being able to direct people within self, within core, within source, but at least that they could see, well, everything that they need is within them. So give thanks for the God in all the INM and the opportunity that we could sit and reason as man, towards one God, one aim, one destiny. My Lord, the blessed.
Blessed. Give thanks. Give thanks. So that's intro, not even episode 1. That's the intro. It's an honor for me to be in the presence reasoning with y'all because, like Prophet John Mark said, like in my spare time, like I'll be tuning into Brother Rizza. I'll be tuning into Honorable Priest Kailash. I'll be tuning into Prophet John Mark, Chronixx, just blessed, So I want to give thanks. This is an honor for me. And yeah, y'all giving thanks. Y'all want to, any words to share?
Oh man, been fed well, brother. I'll just say, man, it's always good to be able to reason and build and exchange that good spiritual energy and those ideas among my brothers from all parts of the diaspora. We're all in different parts of the world right now, just communicating and finding better ways of evolving and connecting and continuing to evolve for the people. So I'm just honored and thankful to know my brothers and to be able to spend time and share some cocoa tea in a calabash with my brothers and some sour sop. Was able to really sit down and do that, man. So, to really be able to break bread with my brothers, I really trust and honor each and every one of you. And again, I'm just thankful to know you. Thankful to be a brother.
Thanks.
Yeah, man.
Thanks,
Give thanks, man. Give thanks every time, man. Yeah, it's a honor and a joy, every time for be within the circle and the council and the prayers and the meditations of, people like like Brother Islam, Brother Akeem, the Right Honorable Priest Kailash, and his family, and it is a joy for, to also to, I would say is a great joy, not just to us, but to all the people who will experience the retreats, and and to all the people who will experience the books and the various manifestations that come from I and I linking up as brethren. And yeah, it's an honor, to, as I said, it deepens my life, because life, the less of these things we experience is the more shallow the life experience, and almost word based, and conversational, and I feel like this make life more experiential, and even them reasoning, because more time people might hear brother is a Islam, and even I and I through certain platforms, but for really hear brethren I share them insight, amongst each other, that's always like a different kind of blessing, because them things, that's creativity, that's creativity. And yeah, we give thanks for all of us, man, and all of our families and all the people who we have around us on an everyday, because brother Rizza Islam don't have the right honorable priest every single day, so we give thanks to the people who are there every day, for make sure say each and every one of us have balance, enough to be who we are, because to live any one of our lives would require enough faith and balance and everything, as what I say, can't trust everyone with and I got through that a lot, I got through that. I never really see music as a thing where, because in one aspect I'm not protective of music, like I want to get it out, is on one hand you want to get this thing out, you don't, but on the next hand you almost know for sure you have to be the one to create it, and you're sure
Right.
your imprint have to be on it. So I feel like to be someone like that, even though you are creating on your own a lot, it still take, like for me is my empress and some of that the family, biological family, and even real family, earth family, and they are the ones who really have your back enough that you can uh shift your focus from dense world to focus on this work, this unmaterialized work that needs your attention and your development. So we give thanks to all of our people, and for the Rastafari family all over the world, all the people from who make up the global Islamic family, people who, it's people who walk the walk and talk the talk and live the live, of and make it possible for us to to have enough development, self-development, to be able to even do the things that we're doing, so with all the families them, give thanks for them,
Give
Give
thanks.
thanks.
All right. Blessed, love, honorable. The priest. The darkness is coming out there, the natural light.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's the
give
sign,
thanks. Yeah.
That's the
Just one point, just one note of correction. We are not in the diaspora. We are in the leavers welfare. We're not gonna be dying poor down here.
That's
So one of the key things is
live
to
as rich,
get ourselves out of leavers.
live as wealthy.
As we wealthy.
Not commonwealth, live,
Richage.
Not Commonwealth, leave us wealthy.
live as
So we're
well.
not dying, and we're not dying poorer. Die as poorer. So you see what they're doing us? They're dying as poorer down here. So definitely we give thanks. And just a point of correction, as poverty is indeed a sin. It is it's a sin, it's a curse, in fact. Poverty is a curse. So let us take ourselves out of that curse that has actually plagued us as a people, at that high level of poverty. That we could actually take back our space, our place in the realms and in the among man. Just like Marcus Garvey says. So all love and prosperity, peace divine. Give thanks for this divine moment. So out of darkness came everything, and then we're going forward into the darkness, as
That's
as in beautiful,
right.
blessed, honorable.
Give thanks,
blessed.
Give
honorable.
thanks, brother. Give
Give
thanks.
thanks for everyone for tuning in at home. Catch y'all on the next one next strong.
Yeah,
Blessings.
man.
Sir.
Blessed love.